Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is alignment. So life flows so much more readily when we're in alignment. There's more grace and ease and strength, resilience, all those good things. So we'll be talking about how to find our way into alignment and the power that it gives us in facing life from one day to the next. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Good morning, Rosalind. Welcome. So good to have you here this morning. And welcome to everybody else who's joining us. We're going to be talking about alignment. But before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light, lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together. Vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling when you stop, and allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, alignment. This comes from several stories, actually, over the past couple days. I was talking with someone who is very concerned about another person in their life who is making a choice to step away from a career that they're deeply invested in as a high profile professional, and they've had years of schooling and a huge investment, and they're making lots of money, and they are absolutely miserable in this position. And the person that I was speaking to was expressing concern for their well-being, knowing that they're doing quite well financially and there's a lot of status to their position. And so the point of the story in context of our conversation of alignment is that the person in the position in which they're miserable is getting big communication from their heart and soul saying, get out, stop doing this now, stop. This is not in alignment. They're getting the misery that they're feeling is an important communication from their being. And the thing that I've learned over time through hard lessons is how important it is to pay attention to these messages. So interestingly, the person that has the concern had experienced something similar in their career, and they left their career for a little bit and ended up going back, and then they got clobbered when they went back. And this is something that I've noticed, so much so that it has taught me to listen. So years ago, I had been in sales. I was an outside sales rep selling eyeglass frames to opticians, optometrists, and ophthalmologists. So I'd travel around and meet all these different people and sell them eyeglass frames. And for the longest time, it was great because it was like visiting friends, and I really enjoyed it. And I felt like I was providing a service that people needed. And then at some point, what happened was that I was given quotas that were requiring me to kind of strong arm people into things. And I started hating my job and hating my life, like really, really, really hating what I was doing. And the fact that I had that strong a feeling should have been enough to have me go look for something else. But I was making good money, and I was being told by people in my life, you're just buck up and do it. You're doing well, et cetera, et cetera. Well, at one point, I was so upset that I said, that's it. By New Year, I'm done. I'm done. And then months went by, and I had completely forgotten about that. And I was trying to make the best of this. And then New Year rolled around, and the circumstances of the job changed in such a way that I decided I just couldn't stay. Totally in alignment with the declaration that I had made, which was really, really interesting, even though I had forgotten about it. So the idea is that if we don't pay attention, and by the way, it was incredibly disruptive. I wasn't ready at that point, and it felt like I got clobbered. So I what I'm trying to convey here is that we will hear a whisper of our soul calling forth to say, hey, you're out of alignment here. You need to find a way to get into alignment. And then if we don't pay attention to the whisper, it becomes louder and louder and louder until we might end up getting clobbered, where we're forced to make the decision that we know we needed to make for however long. And so I was explaining that dynamic that I've seen over and over, not just in my life, but in the lives of so many people, to the person who was very concerned about the choice that this other person was making. And I think they related to it, and they understood. And I think that whatever that whisper is, we could call it God, we could call it our higher self, we could call it our soul, whatever we call it, we're getting these messages that let us know when we're out of alignment. And we ignore those messages at our peril. That if we can pay attention, if we can learn to listen, we can receive the guidance. And the fact that we're miserably unhappy is guidance. I don't think we're meant to be miserably unhappy. I don't think we're meant to be suffering. And we can allow ourselves to course correct as we are guided by these messages. I mean, that's a level of emotional intelligence. When we have a reaction to something and it feels deeply wrong, that is an indicator that it's time to course correct. On the other side of things, being in alignment gives us incredible resilience and strength and perspective to be able to continue even through challenges and difficulties, because we know internally that we're in alignment, that we're on the right path. It doesn't mean that there won't be difficulty, but it gives us the strength and resilience to move through the challenges that life can present. So this also gets into a conversation of meaning and purpose. When we have a sense of purpose, a sense of something bigger than this moment, something that we're moving toward in life, we can rally, we can summon the energy and the intentionality to move through whatever challenges present themselves, even if we're bloodied and bruised along the way, but we're not burnt out. So this was another conversation that I had about burnout and how the remedy for burnout is purpose. That we only get burned out when we have a sense of meaninglessness or hopelessness, where there's an emptiness that is also indicative of being out of alignment. When we have a sense of purpose, something bigger than ourselves, a bigger mission of some sort, that mission can carry us beyond the pitfalls that we might encounter in our day-to-day lives. So that sense of purpose and alignment with that purpose allows us to achieve the impossible, what would have otherwise been impossible or inconceivable, allows us to move into new territories. So when we're in our own paths of evolution and growth and transformation, when we can align with our future self, so to speak, when we can bring that future self present in a moment and align with that, it allows us to create beyond our current ableness. So I love this idea of creating or performing or living beyond our ableness, because what we're doing then is stretching into new definitions of ourselves, new possibilities, into that unknown. So Rosalind says, do you come across people that are retired or their children have moved out? How to navigate to a new? Sure. I work a lot with people who are retired and have children who have moved out, and how they're looking to create a new life. So there are a couple ways that we can interact with those kinds of circumstances. We can see it as a loss, or we can see it as a new chapter and freedoms, right? We can say, okay, so now my responsibilities as a parent have shifted, and I get to go and concentrate more on what I'm looking to create in my own life. There's a huge opportunity for renewal and new discovery and recreating oneself. So in our desire to have continuity, lots of us resist change to in a really dramatic way. We try to keep things fixed because there's some security in that. And there's some security in the predictability. Good morning, Dido. How wonderful to have you here. So Rosalind says, how to navigate new beginnings. The idea is, if we can embrace new beginnings rather than resist them and perceive them as endings, it's two sides of a coin. So yes, as one door closes, another opens, right? So when kids grow up and leave the house, it's like, oh wow, okay, maybe there's a loss, and what is now available that wasn't available before. I have recreated myself multiple times in my life, and I can say that it's been a gift to do that. It's been a blessing to be able to do that. And it's available to all of us, really, truly, in any moment. We don't need a cataclysmic event to allow us to recreate ourselves. It often takes a cataclysmic event to pry us out of our existing patterns. But how awesome to just embrace that opportunity and create something new. A friend of mine was talking about how they're retiring, and it was a forced retirement. They were a pilot, so after at a certain age they have to retire, and it was like he felt like his whole life was over. And I was like, your life is just beginning. You get to recreate yourself and do other stuff and have all kinds of other adventures. Dido says, I became an empty nester just a few days ago. Yeah, and Dido, how amazing. Like, you have just embraced that with excitement for your child and excitement for yourself. And what an opportunity to expand into, like, to give yourself the permission to expand into your greater expression. That there's a freedom when you're an empty nester, like your kid is giving you permission to go do you. So it's another phase. It's not that you're any less of a parent or that your parenting role goes away. Your kids are still hopefully in your life, but in a very different way that frees you up to be more fully expressed. And why not? Good morning, Sue. How wonderful to have you joining us too. So Sue says, what's next? What does your soul call you to do? That's exactly what we're talking about, is alignment. I feel so good to have a party here today. It's great to have you all here. But it is, what is your soul calling you to do? And the thing is, back to our conversation around kind of right livelihood. There's a time and a season for everything. Oh, this is so funny. Dido says, I've seen more of him recently than ever to help him launch. So how it's a shift of relationship, right? And he has a freedom maybe to ask for your support and assistance that he didn't feel previously. And that's so funny and really beautiful. For both of you, it's taking your relationship to a new place. So congratulations to both of you. That's wonderful. So talking about meaning and purpose, we get all kinds of hints when we're not in alignment. And we do have the callings of our heart and soul that say, hey, this is where you can find fulfillment. And just look at the things that you're passionate about. Look at the things where you spend your time when you have free time. Look at the things that you make time for. Look at the things that fascinate you. Look at the things that are calling to you. And as you engage with those things, allow yourself to feel what it feels like. To feel, is it in alignment? Is there this sense of inner harmony that feels right? Or is there a little something there that just doesn't quite feel like clunk, like where the gears sort of fall into place? Is there something where there's some friction? Pay attention, notice that, and maybe allow yourself to readjust, to self-correct, to pay attention and be curious as you move in the direction that you're being called. So this whole notion of suffering that we've been indoctrinated to, like, just buck up and do it, just like with this career thing that I was talking about. When we don't pay attention, we pay a consequence. It could be in health. It could be in our interactions. There may be something that ends up happening that damages our reputation, or something that is hard for us to come back from, that can be really, really painful. And the thing is that it's happened for me so many times that now I listen. Now I pay attention. If there's something that is a whisper in my ear saying no, or saying alert, I pay attention. I don't have to wait till I'm clobbered on the head with a hammer or anything, which I used to have my own determination, like I'm going to override what I know. See, the thing is that oftentimes those whispers are going to take you in directions that aren't necessarily popular. They're going to take you in directions that other people might have all kinds of judgments about. So this guy that is wanting to and is leaving his illustrious career, he's getting all kinds of pushback from other people. It's not a popular decision. And unfortunately, he's suffering over the fact that other people aren't happy with his choice. But sometimes we're called in unpopular directions. But following that calling is still the thing that we need to do to feed our souls, to manifest our lives, to allow our experience to unfold in alignment with our heart and soul, even if it's not popular, even if other people have judgments about it. We need to do what we need to do. And there's a courage that we get to muster, a courage of conviction that will ultimately serve us as we pursue that alignment. It's super powerful. And there's nothing more rewarding ultimately than finding that alignment and following your dream, following your heart, following your soul. So with that, I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel, and I invite you. So Dido says, courage of conviction. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you. I'm so grateful to you. So I was inviting you all to please like and follow the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel and my YouTube channel. The links are in the description. And as always, I am so deeply grateful for the opportunity to have these conversations together and to be exploring what it is to be human. So until next